Let's go back.
Welcome into this week's meeting with the manager. Today we have a very special guest by the name of Spina, the wizard, the man, the myth, the legend. Thank you for joining me here, Phil Accio. What do you have to say, Spina? Welcome to the show.
Yeah, Phil, I mean, it's an honor to be here. I've been in this league for a long time, never seen it at this level before. I feel like everybody's hitting top marks these days. You know, Phil, Dick, Barry, whatever, Mike Coxon, all those guys are bringing their A game every week. And, you know, I'm just happy to be a part of it right now. So appreciate you having me on. Absolutely.
You can tell the production money is just flowing in the studio here, all upgraded. We just got state-of-the-art everything. So we're happy about it now. Thanks for joining us here on the show. Just want to ask you a couple questions, interview you a little bit. You're one of our OG members. We want to know what you have to say, how your season's going, talk to you about a couple things going on with your team. So the first question I have for you, in the past 2 weeks, you put them together, everybody's last 2 weeks, you're the highest scoring team. What do you think that says about you, the way your team's running, how y'all are trending, the direction y'all are going right now?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely wasn't the start that I was looking for. It's very easy to hit the panic button early on. Tried not to do that, tried to just stick with what I got. I made a trade. I wasn't really looking to make a trade, but I made a trade. I think it's, helped me out the last 2 weeks. So I just feel like I was waiting for the wins to get put together. I lost in week 1 by like a decimal point or whatever it was on a fumble. So, that's something that you just got to say, hey man, we could have won that game, should have won that matchup, but sometimes the luck's with you, sometimes it's not. Got to keep going. I didn't want to get the season to get too out of hand there. I mean, didn't love the record at first. I think maybe if I had lost, last week or this, this week we just had, it would have been a different story, but I'm feeling good after the last 2 wins. So
yeah, obviously right. that week 1 loss hurts bad. I know that the single digit losses are always the worst, and you just come away thinking, what could I do? Sometimes there's still points on the bench, and that's the worst case scenario. But our league champion from last year, Carson, she started very slowly last year, had to take some time, develop. We were very critical of her at first. It seems like you've had a huge resurgence in these last 2-3 weeks. So it looks like you're trending in the right direction as far as that's going. Speaking of that, your final projection right now, where ESPN sees you ending the year, it's actually the same as it was on draft day. Do you think that's a good thing or a bad thing, considering how your team's performed, the adversity that y'all have had coming back in the last 2 weeks? Do you find that as a win?
Yeah, I mean, Mr. Accio, you might have to remind me, what is that projection? I don't look at those sorts of things. Do you know what the number is?
Yeah, absolutely. It is 5, so a little bit better than the middle of the pack.
Yeah, I mean, I think top 4 would be realistic right now. 5 is just always kind of looking out from the outside, or looking in from the outside, I should say. So, I think top 4 would be justifiable. I mean, I think from draft day to where I am now, like I said, obviously it's been a roller coaster. So I'm sure I was down with projections, and now they're looking at my team 2-3, kind of in the middle of the pack. Lots of people with those records, but it's just so hard to project, what's going to happen. I mean, injuries, trades, people, dropping players you don't expect, things like that could happen. I feel comfortable with where I'm at. I feel comfortable in my game. So, I'm going to sit where I am, do what I normally do. And, I personally believe top 4 is definitely where I'll end up, maybe even 1. That's what I'm aiming for. 5 is nice, but no, I want to be better than the 5th. So.
Hey, we love the confidence. We love a confident manager. We know you're capable of it. You've done it before. So speaking of, those moves you make, we know you're a wizard with the waiver wire. You always have been a hawk's eye, keeping your eye on everybody. You right now are 3rd in the league as far as acquisitions go. You have 8 acquisitions and then a trade as well. Do you think that that's contributed to your amount of success in recent weeks? And then also, how do you balance, how much is too much? Am I losing valuable players? Am I pulling the trigger too fast to let certain players go because they haven't performed? How do you find a balance there?
Yeah, I mean, there's always going to be risks, when you're doing this sort of thing, when you're, living the life that we live. There's risks you got to take, family members, you got to, we're trying to put food on the table, trying to get money in our pockets here. That prize money goes a long way. So, I take it seriously. I think it's easy to get kind of lost in the acquisition sauce. We see a player has a good week, and then one of your bench players had a bad week. You're like, all right, like it's over. Got to move on. Sometimes you got to put your head back on. Think about what you're doing. But I also think losing those first couple weeks put me in a good spot actually, because then obviously you get that higher waiver priority. I think that let me get Jeff Wilson in week 1, who now I've traded away. So you kind of the first couple weeks when there's a lot of good players on waivers, you kind of get an advantage there. Nowadays look at the waivers and there's just like, I don't even know. Literally no one on the waivers.
Yeah.
So I think those first couple weeks is where you can really, really set yourself up, try to get some guys who are emerging that, didn't get drafted. And then, the trade, I flipped Jeff Wilson, who I picked up off waivers, and DK Metcalf, who was underperforming at the time, into Mike Evans. I mean, obviously DK's kind of stepped up his game a little bit. Jeff Wilson's valuable right now, but it's all about trying to make moves, trying to make your team better. But there's no winning formula to this. It's all about, it's all about luck too. Anything could happen. Trying to play the game my way and see what happens.
Absolutely. I mean, you got to play smart. When you do, unfortunately, lose a couple games, you're at the top of the waiver wire. You got to make the most of that. Grab a player that's really going to make an impactful statement. Again, I like to play it smart. I don't want to make knee-jerk reactions, take out players that, I believed in and they performed poorly for 1 week, 2 weeks, and then I'm already, sending them away or putting them on the bench and miss a big game. So that's definitely important.
Yeah.
You mentioned a lot of two and three teams. Sorry, did you have?
No, I was gonna say, Phil. The people in this league, I just think I'm on a different level when it comes to things. I know they're gonna make mistakes. Some of the trades that get sent out. Some of the players people drop. It's a place where I can take advantage.
At best.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, even you start on draft night, you always know. Someone's going to do something stupid. It always happens. It's usually not me. It's usually someone else. So just got to take advantage of it when it happens. So I feel like I've been doing that this year, trying to make my way up.
Absolutely. And it shows. And like I was saying, you mentioned a lot of 2 and 3 teams. Now your division right now, it's what I would call middle heavy. So you don't have the 1 and 4s. You don't have the, really low level of success. You have a lot of middle of the pack teams. What are you going to do to separate yourself? And I believe that your record right now is tied with about, I don't want to make a mistake here, but I think 2 other people. How are you going to stand out? Is it the acquisitions, the waiver wire, the consistency? What is it? What's the key?
Yeah, I think, acquisitions is the biggest thing, probably just trying to get a leg up there. It's all about plugging and playing guys too. If you have a guy with a good opportunity, you got to put him in. You got to kind of go away from your starters at times, go away from, what you've been doing, whether that's playing a guy for 1 week and then dropping him, trying to get the most points at, that you can just for 1 week at a time. You need to win that week. You got to do what you can, pick up the win, make your record a little better. So I think acquisitions help, and just trying to put together the most points possible. I mean, you're always going to get outscored by someone who has a crazy week. But, all you can do is just score as many points as you can, go all out. Don't leave anything on your bench, try to make the best decisions there. And then, you might get outscored at the end of the day, but, you don't want to be sitting there with 70 points at the end of the week and you lost to someone who had, 80, 90 points, there it is. You want to put up 130, 120. And then if you get beat by someone who put up 160, then, you take it, you move on. You had a good week, but just didn't have it all. And, you do it again next week. So, it's all about staying consistent, getting the most points possible, and then taking it week by week. Don't overlook anybody, too.
I think you've done a fabulous job of that. I think everyone knows that you did set the year record, the season record. for this season. Can you help me out? 180.
It was like 180. It was in the 180s, I believe.
It's fabulous. So fabulous work. And one more thing I want to mention is depth. You want to have depth going. It's a long season, a lot of football to play, so make sure we have something there. Before we head out, you have any words to the league? You have any trade opportunities? Anybody you're looking to put on the block? Any news we have? Anything shocking for us? What's going on in your world?
Yeah, I mean, right now I think we're getting to that point where if you're sitting at 1-4, or you're at the bottom end of the league, like we're 5 weeks in, people are starting to get desperate. And sometimes you get a good trade off out of that. Sometimes you don't. Certain managers this week, they've been sending out piles of shit, to be honest. Sam Brick to Noah, those guys are texting me every single day, sending me trade offers every single day. I got some bad ones. I talk about it with an inferior manager in CJ, but he's a good friend of mine, playing him this week. We talk about it because obviously he sees the same stuff, and I've, like you said, Phil, I've been in this league for a long time. Maybe there's some younger people out here who don't understand this game we play, but you got to come to the table with a fair offer. And honestly, you got to come to the table with an offer that favors me, because that's all I want is the best for me and my team.
Of course.
So
Absolutely.
Yeah. So what do you got? I think it was I don't know who it was. It might have been Sam. Someone sent me yesterday Kadarius Toney and Isaiah Pacheco, or the fuck, the third string running back. Maybe it was you. I don't remember. But someone
sounds like a Sam thing to me. That sounds right.
Yeah. Sent me a wide receiver. Yeah, wide receiver who hasn't barely played at all. It's got like 2 points total this season, and then a third string running back for Kansas City for Mike Boone, who's an up and comer on the waivers. So it's just like
just drop them. Boy. You don't want them on your roster anyway. Just drop them. We all know you're trying to make shitty trades. Just drop the players, man.
Listen,
pick up somebody better. There's better people on waivers anyway.
Yeah, I'm not Keller. I'm not Carson Proctor. You can't take advantage of me.
Yes.
Maybe those guys you try that stuff with. We got some weird trades going.
Spina. It's the mental game.
Oh yeah. You gotta keep them thinking. Thinking, oh man, maybe I should trade away my star player to Spina, because he knows. It seems like he knows what he's talking about. I got into it with Noah last night because we were trying to make a trade happen. He's very confident about his players. I'm confident about mine, and that's what I love to see. Competitive spirit and all that. So yeah, and so we'll see how it goes.
Absolutely. Like I said, plenty of football to be played. But Spina, we're out of time here for this segment tonight. I want to thank you again so much for joining us. I also want to thank our sponsor, Sam's Clams. If they're in a shell, you can tell that's Sam's Clams. I also want to send out a reminder. We are on bye week next week as reporters, so there will not be a video this coming week. We should still have your reviews, previews, everything like that. Just no video, but we will be back strong at it the next week. And we love y'all, and we hope y'all have a great night.
Phil, I got one more thing for you.
Absolutely.
I wanted to make let me see if I can pull it up here. I wanted to make a special treat for our new sponsor, Sam's Clams.
Okay.
Some of the guys, that are heavily involved in this league. Let me pull it up here. So, don't know if you can see that, but
oh my!
This is usually what happens
gosh.
When the wizard rolls through your town. Take a couple L's.
We're
look at those faces,
L's. Gentlemen.
Smoking on that Sam pack, smoking that Noah pack, smoking that Robert pack.
All right. Well,
that's what happens when the wizard's in town.
This was my show, and Spina stole the show. So thank you very much.
Let me get Sam's face in there one more time.
Smoking. Can we get a zoom in on that? Can you put that on my green screen? Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. Have a great night.
Thanks, Phil.